Well, it's a very strange situation because normally a judge hears from the defense side and they hear from the prosecution side and they make a decision. Now you appoint an outsider who has no connection to the court system at all. And he's basically saying to this individual, and by the way, a highly qualified guy, Paul Clement was the former Solicitor General of the United States. He's a Republican. He was appointed by G.W. Bush. Very competent guy. But he's not a federal judge, and he's not part of the system. But this judge is bringing him in to get an independent opinion of whether this is the right thing to do, because I think he's looking to restore confidence in the federal judiciary. The public's going to look at this and say, hey, why is this thing being dismissed? Why is the prosecutor walking away from it? And by the way, the prosecutor said, hey, we have a case against him, and we want to be able to renew the case later on. Usually when they dismiss, they say, well, the evidence gone south on us. We can't prove the case. It looks bad on its face. So he wants to bring in an independent person to say the right thing is to dismiss the charge.
Right, but Your Honor, it makes it look bad that he's bringing somebody in. It makes it look suspicious. So what Michael Flynn's case taught us, and of course you know this, Your Honor, but for everybody at home. So they brought in the amicus curiae. It goes to the appellate court. The appellate court says, no, you can't do that. You got a very narrow band. It's got to be for obvious political corruption or abuse of prosecutorial discretion. But then it goes to the full review of the appellate court, what they call en banc, the full three-judge panel. And they say, no, it was okay. It was okay to have it reviewed. So there is precedent to do this if the judge can show that there's a legitimate question that this is basically a dirty deal. How do you see it, Judge?
Well, what I see here is that I don't think the gentleman who was appointed to do this, who's very conservative, he argued very conservative causes as Solicitor General for G.W. Bush, his job is just to look at the evidence and report to the judge, is there a case here? Is there a possibility of a guilty verdict here? Is there sufficient evidence, including the additional charges that could be brought? And if his answer is yes, this is a prosecuting case, then the judge has to decide whether the evidence that's been put before him related to what occurred with all of these lawyers who were part of this prosecution, people in Washington who were reviewing this prosecution, all resigned because they refuse to dismiss the case. One says, I'm not your fool. I'm not going to do that when he talks to Emile Beauvais, right, and says, you do it yourself. Emile Beauvais didn't want to do it himself. What he did is he found a senior prosecutor in Washington to protect the people underneath her to sign the motion. So that's really what's going on here, is to find out. And that's exactly what was done in the Flynn case. And that's exactly what he's trying to determine, whether there was a political deal here as opposed to a legal reason for dismissing the charges. I predicted a few days ago that's exactly what he was going to do.
Oh, really? I thought he was going to say the deal was okay, but that's why you're the judge and I talked to one. But all right, so then answer this for me, Judge, before I let you guys go. And thank you for being here on a Friday night, both of you. So the reason the Flynn thing never got figured out through the legal system, which, by the way, this is not illegal. People keep saying what the district judge just did is illegal. That's not true. It may be warranted or unwarranted, and they can appeal it, but it's not illegal. But with Flynn, Trump pardoned him. So it became what we call in the law moot. It was no longer an issue to be dealt with by the legal system. He will not pardon Adams because he wants hooks in him. That deal that he made said, we will review the charges again after the election. And he did that way, even though he said he didn't know about it, because they want hooks in Adams. So do you think this will be allowed ultimately, Judge?
I do. And I think the judge is going to eventually look down at the DOJ and say, you got three choices. You can dismiss this case with prejudice, and that means you can never try this or anything tangential, okay? Or you can get the president to give him a pardon like Mr. Flynn got, or I'm going to let this other prosecutor, I'm going to appoint a prosecutor, and I'm going to let him prosecute the case to the end. He has that power. He can do
Wow.
that. And I think those are the three choices he's going to give the DOJ in the end.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.